Next discussion is titled Driving Change, Founding an AI-Empowered Car-Sharing Enterprise. Please welcome Getaround founder and CEO Sam Zaid and TechNet Senior Vice President Carl Holshouser.
We're sorry to interrupt your lively lunch, but hopefully we'll give you stimulating conversation while you're eating. Please feel free to continue to get up and get yourself lunch if you have not already gotten some. We're so excited to be joined today by a CEO and founder, which is a really unique role that you see a company in a completely different way. Before we start, I'm Carl Holshouser. I'm TechNet Senior Vice President, and I'm just thrilled that you're all here for this great day. Our AI A Good event is the first, as you know, in a series for part of our American Innovation launch that we announced yesterday. $25 million to talk about AI for good. The risks are being well covered. We want to be sure that the good benefits to society are also being covered. We're so delighted to have Sam Zaid, Chief Executive Officer and founder of Getaround, with us today to discuss the many incredible ways that AI is transforming mobility and transportation throughout America. Sam has over 2 decades of experience founding and building technology companies in consumer, enterprise, data, and artificial intelligence spaces. Sam founded Apton, a software boutique specializing in AI and cloud, as well as 360pi, an AI platform for e-commerce retailers, which quickly became the market leader in retail price intelligence and was acquired by Vista equity-backed Market Track. Sam is loaded with accolades. He was the recipient of several, including the EI Entrepreneur of the Year, a Microsoft Code Award winner, and a Google Scholarship recipient. His latest venture, Getaround, is the world's first 100% digital car-sharing marketplace and serves over 1,000 cities across the US and Europe. So now we'll get to talk to Sam. Sam, thanks so much for joining this afternoon. I want to get you to just tell us a little bit about Getaround and car sharing and what makes you different from other car sharing platforms. And, when I think about car sharing, I think about sharing one car with my partner, my fiance, who's actually in the back today. And, I never seem to be able to use it. He's always got it. So is that car sharing, or what is car sharing?
So first, Carl, thank you for having me and having Getaround here to speak. I'm sorry about your fiance being so greedy with the car. But to answer your question about Getaround, so car sharing, unlike ride sharing, is when you share your car with somebody. And typically that could be somebody you know, but it's also, it could be a total stranger. And so Getaround, we're a marketplace. Think of us maybe like Airbnb for cars. We have people who have cars, and when they're not using them, they rent them out to people who need a car. And you can rent all sorts of cars, right? You could rent a compact car, or a luxury car, or an SUV. And it's an online app, an online marketplace, and we operate today, across 1,000 cities, 8 countries, Europe, and the United States. And what makes us different is really the focus on technology first. It's creating an experience that's a very digital experience, because you think of renting your car, you're like, okay, well, I have to meet this person, maybe I have to give them the keys, how do I get my car back, how do we coordinate all those logistics? That can be a real pain and quite frustrating for the user. And so we solve that using technology by really leveraging the power of data and connectivity so that you don't have to meet anyone. You can do everything from your phone. So you can book the car instantly, you can walk to the car, you can go through that checkout process in 60 seconds, you can walk to the car, do a digital walk around on the phone, unlock the doors from the phone, get in the car, drive away. So much more seamless experience, fully digital, namely obviously powered by the data and connectivity, which we'll spend some more time talking about. And if you're renting out your car, it's much easier for you. You could be here listening to this stimulating fireside chat and making money renting out your car at the same time, and you don't have to be physically involved. And that's really where the power of AI for good starts to play in, because in order to do that, you have to have some smarts as to getting people in the car, knowing who you're renting the car to, and having a high degree of trust and safety around that process. And so it's something where we felt, you could do that by meeting someone and making your own judgment of them. If it's your fiance, you probably trust him to drive the car.
Some days.
Some days. And there's a lot of human reasoning and judgment involved in that, right? Is someone going to take my car? What are they going to do with it? Are they going to be a safe driver? Are they going to bring it back? Are they going to commit a crime? Well, an AI can also figure that out for you, and then you can create a truly digital sort of experience that doesn't require as much human or people intervention in order to function. So that's Getaround in a nutshell. It's something we've been building now for 10 years. The way we make this process work is you just need the app, and then everyone who shares their car actually has a piece of IoT or Internet of Things technology. It's like a tracking device that goes in the vehicle, and it gets all the data from the car, allows you to securely unlock the doors to the car, immobilizes the vehicle's engine when the car's not being rented or used. And so once you hook that up, then you can really harness the power of data to build a much more seamless and digital experience. So very long-winded explanation to your question, but hopefully provide some context for the company.
It's great context, but I'm asking you to go deeper. So if I drove here today and I knew I wasn't going to use my car for 6 hours, and my partner's here, so I know it's free, the car is available, how could I utilize that on the platform right now?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So you would have signed up presumably already. You'd have what's called Getaround Connect in your vehicle. So you'd be able to see your car's location real time, anytime. Someone could open the app and say, hey, I don't know what type of car you have. Let's say maybe you're a BMW guy. Audi guy. Okay, so I like Audis though, all-wheel drive.
Typecast though, the shade.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, I was just kidding. Just so someone could come in, they could search for your car in the app. They would quickly go through a digital checkout experience, put in their driver license, payment information, and select the sort of insurance coverage that they're looking for, or they could bring their own insurance. And then as soon as they send the booking, in the background, there's a whole set of models that are running to authenticate, verify that person's account before we confirm their booking. So all of that AI and those machine learning models are running the moment someone says checkout. Let's assume someone trustworthy is renting your car. Then we would confirm the booking. They would be able to see it in the app. They get the real-time location, the pickup instructions. They can then walk to the car, complete the pickup experience, unlock the doors from the phone, and drive away. And from your perspective, you just get a notification say, hey, your car's been booked for the next 6 hours. You're going to make $100, and that's all you got to do.
So I'm thinking, well, I pay a monthly payment. I'm not using the car. I'm driving efficiency for the use of my car by being able to utilize it when I'm not using it, and someone else can use it. But let's pivot from the way that it operates to how are you utilizing AI? And this story today is about AI for good and the positive benefits. So I don't want us to go down the path of video games and Terminator. Let's stay to the societal benefits that you're driving towards and the good that your platform will create using AI.
Yeah, I'm happy to stay away from the Skynet scenario. There's a number of different ways that we use AI today, and then there's, I think, a plethora of experiences on a go-forward basis, especially as AI technology continues to mature. The first and probably most important one is, for you to rent out your car, you need a degree of trust in the person that's renting that vehicle. If you look at sort of Web 2.0 or web products and marketplaces today, often they put that trust on you. So you have to say, I'm going to vet this person. I want to maybe see their driver license. I want to meet them in person, get a sense for them before they rent my vehicle. You go through your own sort of mental set of processes to make your own prediction as to whether you think that's someone you'd want in your car or not. So when we think about AI, we're doing the same thing, but we're doing it now with machine reasoning. And the advantage is you can do it probably synchronous with, you don't have to meet anybody, so you can do it right when someone expresses interest in renting your car. You also get a lot more data signals, right? So for example, when you go to check out and you put your driver license in the US, we will just pull your driver abstract in real time. So we'll have a bit more information about how good of a driver that person is. And we also look at a bunch of signals that are coming in to really make an assessment that we believe they're a safe driver, that they're going to do responsible things with the vehicle, that you'll be happy with them as a customer of yours. And that is all about creating trust and creating safety on the marketplace, which is really underpinned by artificial intelligence. And that's how you can then make this experience a much more instant and seamless experience. Without that, you could, but you probably wouldn't like the outcome. And so, without the AI, it's actually much worse for society because you might be giving cars to people that shouldn't have them. Whereas with the AI, you can actually create a much safer and a much more productive marketplace.
So I think what you're telling me is that by using AI, you're going to give me the trust and confidence that whoever is going to utilize my vehicle is someone that I can trust my property with and will do good things with it. And that if you are a user and you're using my car, that you're going to verify that my car is in good shape, it will do what you need, has the capabilities you need, and you can do that instantaneously using AI. Is that a pretty good feedback?
Yeah, it's a great summary. And that second piece I actually hadn't touched on yet, which is because we have the technology in the vehicle, we're also getting real-time streams of all the data. So you get, for example, the check engine light came on, or tire pressure is low. We also get high resolution photos every time someone gets in the car and every time they return a car, because they're taking both exterior interior photos through a guided process. And so now the machine can actually see the condition of the vehicle before and after, can understand how the car's driving, get all of the sensor data, and exactly that. You can create for someone booking a car, you can ensure that they're getting into a car that we believe is fit to drive. Right now, of course, it's always machine driven, so it's a best effort, but that's a lot better than someone just telling you, hey, I think it's in good shape, and you're like, oh, I get there and there's like, I don't know, chip bags and in the seat, and the car says the check engine light's on and then you can't drive it or something.
So it's interesting to hear you talk about the consumer application. You've done a lot in big data analytics. You've done consumer products. As you've thought about building this company and using AI, can you talk about how your experience and then bolting in AI with it has led you to found the world's first 100% digital car sharing marketplace? I'd look down to make sure I got that right for your staff.
Yeah, appreciate that. So I've been an entrepreneur now for essentially since I started my career. I had a short stint as a photonics engineer a long time ago. But when my first two companies, when we were doing AI, AI was a bit of a dirty word, right? It was still like the tail end of the last, what's called AI winter, which is typically, the hype and ups and downs of AI in terms of the hype cycle. That was probably the best time to be in it because there was a lot of the breakthroughs that are, starting to be mainstream now have happened in the last, 10 years or so. Those companies were really more focused on using AI to help enterprises, right? And so large enterprises, retailers figure out how to optimize pricing and profits.
So other big companies, not
other
consumers.
Big companies,
Right.
but not consumers. But what I did take away from that was a couple of things. One of those was that, when we came to start Getaround, it was actually inspired by AI. And we were really looking at the autonomous car, right? The self-driving car, this was now 10, 12 years ago, back at Stanford, before self-driving cars were even commercialized, and there had been this DARPA-funded grand challenge for cars to complete a closed circuit course, and it was finally starting to happen where cars could drive and not fall off the road. And we just imagined, we said, well, look, if cars can start moving themselves around, why is everybody parking their cars 23, maybe in your case, 22 hours a day, and they're just cluttering up the streets, right? How do we help cities get those cars off the road? And if you imagine a world where all your cars are self-driving, would you just be parked all the time? No, you'd probably be either telling it to go park somewhere else or letting someone else use it. And so that idea that cars becoming more intelligent could solve our fundamental transportation problem is what inspired us to start Getaround, and then also why we decided we really needed to harness data, because we'd never be able to take advantage of that transformation to the autonomous vehicle without being fully connected into the vehicle.
So just want to pull on that a little bit more. Can you tell us how your previous ventures, Appiton, 360pi, specializing in AI cloud technologies, have contributed to the development of Getaround's proprietary technology and its position as a market leader in the car sharing industry?
Yeah, I guess I think the both with Appiton and with 360pi, there's a couple things that were really helpful. First, this was early. When we started, it was early cloud, right? And so understanding the transformation that was happening by moving data into the cloud and being able to actually create systems that were scalable enough to...
So I'm going to interrupt you. When do you think is early cloud?
2007, 2008.
2007 and 8. All right.
Yeah. So around the time Amazon really launched, Amazon Web Services for the first time, and they had their...
And we're moving from everything being in a hard drive or a server in our data center, and we're going to the cloud.
Yeah, so my first company, we actually would build data centers for clients, and that's where the AI would run. As we shifted, to my second company, there was the cloud, and that allowed the AI to run in the cloud. And so you were no longer solving hardware problems. You were really focused on solving the software problems, and you could scale, 100,000x. Right, you didn't, otherwise you'd be building massive data centers for every customer, which was just not feasible. And so that was sort of the first unlock. And then I think, just being in the space and keeping a track of it really had an appreciation for where those limitations were. And I think it really wasn't until about 2017 that you had these breakthroughs with much more scalable deep learning models that have really, today everyone's experiencing in things like ChatGPT or other.
So I pulled you off the thread a bit, but just talk to me a little bit about how this contributed to your position and Getaround's position as the market leader in car sharing. Just your movement to this cloud use.
Yeah, I think it was realizing that this is happening, and so therefore setting up the company to be digital first and technology first, and really investing in the tech to allow us to both build that platform for getting all the data and building it in a way that then we could really process it in real time to do all the things we just talked about, to underwrite and understand trust and safety and how people are using cars, and really try to then build a much safer marketplace. I think for car sharing to really go mainstream, it has to be something where there's inherently high trust and all the stuff you would worry about are taken care of. And the only solution to that problem, the only way to give consumers that confidence is by really investing in AI. And in order to do that, you need to have built the company from the ground up, the technology layer from the ground up, to be sort of forward thinking. And so coming from that space, we were able to think, okay, well, we think this is going to happen. Cars are going to become connected. We'll be able to get more and more data. How do we set the company up to really take advantage of that so that we can continue to innovate and solve what are fundamentally human reasoning problems inside of a marketplace?
So it's been interesting for you to go from 2008 on, as you just laid that out. I'm going to add another question here, which is looking forward 5 years or so, where will this market be for car sharing, and how will AI be involved?
So beyond the things we've talked about, which I think is really about establishing trust on both sides of the marketplace, fundamentally, there's no way you'd sustain a system the way it is today, right? You have tons of cars, they're parked 95% of the time, second most expensive asset for most, for the median American household, takes up 25, 30% of household income. Not a sustainable situation. Much more sustainable is for people to share cars and bring that cost down, but without giving up the convenience and the flexibility of owning a car. The only way to really solve that is what we've talked about. And so I think there are really the AI around, safety and trust, and then the AI inside of the car itself, right? Once the car's once cars can really get to a level of self-driving capability, you can then have a very reconfigurable fleet of cars. And so now all of a sudden, it's just much more convenient for me to share a car. I have high confidence I can do it. The car can move itself around. And you'll shift to a world where increasingly more and more people are sharing. And this idea of private personal ownership, where one person, or in your case, two people will use a single car, that actually itself will move away. And so, really car sharing over the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, should become much more ubiquitous, and the idea of transportation as a shared mode, access mode, as opposed to an ownership mode, that transformation from ownership to access, I think will mainstream in a much bigger way.
My main question for my last one is, do you sleep? Because it seems like with all that you've done, and with how you're rapidly scaling this company and the plans you have forward, you must be a really, really busy guy. Do you have any time off whatsoever? And with that, I'll let you give your closing remarks.
I do sleep, not as much as I'd like to sleep. I think I was definitely running on sub an hour of sleep yesterday on my way here. But generally, I do sleep. I am human. I'm not an AI, just for everyone's reference. So I do need sleep. But it's exciting, and when you're working on things, and these are hard problems to solve, it does take a lot of energy, and so sleep is sometimes a luxury that you can't always afford at certain times. You just try to get it in where you can. But I think this is something AI for good. I'm glad people are having these conversations, because there's a lot of positive in AI and how it can be applied to so many different industries. I mean, in my case, I've applied it to a handful. I think there are dozens more, and we're really excited about it at Getaround. We think it's something that will unlock and really unlock the potential of car sharing in a much bigger way. Really excited to be talking about how AI, everyone talks about how it can go wrong, but all the ways that can go right. So thank you for having us. It's very exciting.
And I just want to put a point on a few themes that I think are key for what you're doing, Sam, which is, for most of us, 5 years ago, would have heard this idea and be like, yeah, nobody's going to let you use their car, or yeah, it doesn't Uber do that, right? But if you think about how a lot of Americans are struggling with interest rates and inflation, they're trying to help their families, they're trying to get to school. The idea that an asset that they have to have in order to have daily life will then have other tangible benefits that can be utilized by others in a platform to get where they need to go, to move goods and services. It's a really inspiring idea, and without data and AI, it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be possible. So for everyone in the room, please join me in thanking Sam for joining us today, for giving us great remarks. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And if you have a car to share, www.getaround.com. Thank you.